Hi, Matt.
Mark. David has said a couple of times that one of the priorities this offseason will be to improve the major league roster. Where would you like to see additions?
Yeah, I think for our ball club, looking at last year from the talent level, we had a lot of young players, as you're aware. That expectation levels for them to grow, to continue to improve, to continue to get better. Adding to this roster, I think ultimately, based on the season we had last year with the record we finished at, we can improve everywhere, really. You know, we need to be better offensively. Um, we need to catch the ball better. You so overall, I think we can improve with the current roster we have, and adding to that from a talent perspective, I think can only help us improve. In both offense and defense.
When you look at the rotation options you have right now, just as the roster stands now, how many spots would you say are spoken for, and how many would you say are still perhaps?
Yeah, I think in terms of rotation, I mean, the true spoken for rotation spot is Cole. Cole's right. Cole's earned that. Cap did a great job finishing his season on a positive note. We're not sure where Cap will end up in terms of being ready for a season. He's off-season surgery, but he's recovering really well. So, and beyond that, it's a list of younger guys competing for a job. We have to see where Paul ends up too. Blackburn had an unbelievable first half with all-star selection, so he's obviously in that mix to be considered someone that would start in that rotation. That's earned. But beyond that, it's the younger guys. It's J.P. Sears, Ken Waldachuk, Martinez, Aller. It'll be a fun spring training to watch these guys compete and try to go out and win rotation spot.
What was Kimberly's surgery?
He had shoulder surgery. I think it was on the AC joint area, which is something that he had dealt with in the past in spring training that kind of delayed his season. Yeah.
How much of a concern is that?
I don't think it's a concern. I think it was something that the organization and him felt strongly about moving forward with, and he's doing great. Rehab's going great. He's getting stronger by the day. So I obviously can't give you a timeline on that, but he's doing well.
Is he expected to be ready to go by the start of spring?
Matt, as always, we talk about timeline with injuries. Like, there's all kinds of variables that can take place from now till February, but the expectation level is he will be ready. Yes.
Is Puck part of that starting rotation mix possibly, or was his season in the bullpen something that you feel like something that can continue going forward?
Talking about AJ, I mean, obviously going into last season there was, the history of injury, which, I think him up for his role, and the success he's had in his role really. From a performance standpoint and from an non-injury related standpoint, he finished the season healthy. AJ expressed his desire to kind of get back and compete for a starting rotation spot. I think we're going to make that available to him. I think that AJ showed last season that he can handle the rigors of a full season and get through it, and he understands his body better. I think he matured throughout the season, both on the field and off the field, with his routines. And my expectation level is he comes into camp and has this opportunity to be stretched out and possibly be in a rotation.
You spent some time at the AFL. I know that was important for you to see some of the young guys. What stood out to you when you went down there?
Well, I really liked the crew that we had there. Lawrence Butler, Denzel Clark, Zach Geloff from the position side really, opened up some eyes in what they were able to accomplish. And, on the mound with Miller, Kusick, Ginn, guys that have come to this organization and been acquired, really opened up some eyes too, had success there. And to get a look at that, it was great to have conversation with them, make them aware that there's a lot of opportunity in this organization to have impact quickly. Use some examples of that as well for them to just show them, and they're aware of it. So they're young. They got a little ways to go to mature, but it's always nice to see some talent like that and know that that's going to be part of the future.
Mark, the uncertainty, obviously it's part of the time of year, part of your job, but when you see a guy like Sean Murphy, Laureano, guys whose names are all about the rumor mill, how do you deal with that as your manager? How does it affect your job?
Well, 2 hours before my first conference with the team in spring training, I was told Matt Olson was going to be traded. So it started from day one. There's no control over what takes place, in my situation. My only thing I can control is just leading these guys and building a culture of winning baseball and how we're going to go about that. Sean's a great player. He's a young kid on the right path. I think, we're all aware of our processes in Oakland. And, with Sean, from my perspective of the control that I have, I want to write his name in the 3-hole and have him in that lineup as a leader as well. But this is a situation we've been in before, and we dealt with this last season. And, and I think we're going to hopefully move forward as soon as possible and build something that we all know can be done in Oakland in a shortened, timely manner to success.
Mark, what do you like most about Sean defensively as a catcher? Is it handling the staff or how he
Everything.
receives the ball? Everything?
Sean's really matured, and I think I made a comment earlier that his injuries that he sustained earlier in his career are trending in the downward direction, and his maturity as a player and his performance is trending in the up direction. So, Sean's done a really nice job of understanding the routines and understanding himself and what it takes to finish the season like he did this year. I think caught 120 games, just short of that. DH'd for us. I think total games played was over 150. It's pretty incredible for a young catcher to be able to accomplish that. But defensively, he controls the running game. He handles the staff. He's dedicated to his plan. He's learned how to prepare and study. He led scouting reports for us this season. So really, in terms of what he's done from the time he got to the big leagues till where he's at now, it's a really, really nice path.
What's his upside? The way you describe him, you describe him as a number 3 hitter, and then you just talk about how he's maturing. He's already got a Gold Glove. What's his upside? Where's the
Hey, it's still going up. I don't see a ceiling for Murph in terms of that position and the value that position brings to a ball club. So I think he's still got power. He's going to probably hit for more power. I think he's going to cut his strikeouts down because he started understanding the strike zone a little bit better. And in terms of defensively, I mean, as you talked about, he's already got a Gold Glove. So I don't know how much higher you can go unless he somehow pulls off a platinum Gold Glove at the catching position, which probably isn't going to happen. But he's well-rounded, and in terms of the maturation process, that's just a part of your routines, your preparation, how you prepare, in the off season, what he's doing to train. He dropped probably 10, 12 pounds coming into camp last year. So that shows that as well as helping his knees out and his back, and it kept him healthy throughout the whole season.
There's still you have all season left. Curious as to what you think about how the division is shaping up, just with all the moves that happened so far.
Well, one of my mentors just took this, so that'll be fun managing against Boch. And in terms of the division, it was a tough division last year. It's going to be a tough division again this year. doesn't mean that we can't compete and win baseball games and have an opportunity to do something special here. You build off the successes and not the failures. You learn from your failures. But we had success last year in certain areas against certain teams. I think we were one of the only teams to sweep the Houston Astros during the regular season. Hey, we beat them, and so we just need to build on those small confidence and understand that if we play the game the right way, we have an opportunity to win every baseball game possible.
But as far as the division as a whole, do you think that perhaps the division has gotten even more competitive than it was from last season, or it just gets more competitive every year?
Well, we had two teams go to the postseason, Seattle and Houston. Texas, obviously bringing DeGrom in has, an impact on their club. So, yeah, I think the division has gotten better. But again, every division seems like it's getting better. So in terms of the way we're going to compete and where I see ourselves sitting in this division, we understand the talent that lies there. And I don't think it changes things from how we looked at it this year to next year, no.
You guys do end up having to replace Sean. How do you gauge Shea's readiness to every year, right?
Yeah, that's a great question, Matt. We saw Shea limited in September in the role behind the plate. I think he has all the ability to step in and be an everyday major league catcher. I was really impressed with his his preparation, how he followed Murph and learned from Murph in the time he was there, and not just Murph, but with Vogt. He soaked in a lot of experience in a short amount of time. But I do think, if he ends up being here and Murph is not, we'll have, a lot of support for him in terms of, game calling, game planning. So, can he step in and be the everyday guy? I believe he can, yes.
Going back to Murphy's game plan, Murphy's game planning, it's very stellar. What were some of the pitchers and their feedback as far as it pertained to how Murphy game plans as far as that goes?
I got nothing but positive feedback. In terms of pitchers, sometimes it's not game plan, just it's execution, right? So, but for Murph, they loved the way he, dove in. They loved the fact that he competed with them, and he was open to their thoughts, ideals, and what they wanted to do as well. So anytime you have that connection, relationship, it generally leads to success.
Seems like catcher is getting to a spot where we're not seeing as many marathon type guys who make every start. It's going to be, how beneficial is it to have a catcher who's prolific enough with the bat that you can spin and use him at DH some on days where he's not behind the plate?
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a really valuable asset to have. You mentioned the guys, and the first name that popped in my head was a former Oakland Athletic and teammate, Jason Kendall, right? You could write, he wanted his name written in the lineup every day. He'd fight you if you didn't. So Murph wasn't as aggressive as to fight me, but Murph was definitely aggressive enough to say, hey, I'm playing tomorrow. I want to play tomorrow. I say, I write the lineup. I'll let you know when you play. But he was great. To catch, he wants to play. I think there was a point where I finally realized after maybe 13 straight days of where he caught and DH that he needed a blow, and he actually thanked me. So yeah, he's a guy that it's nice to have a position as valuable as he plays in, that you can write his name in the DH and feel confident about his bat as well.
You've
That's a great question, Matt. I love the fact that we have that option with Seth, that we can play him in the outfield. And as you saw I challenged him to play center field, and I still feel he, can handle center field. Maybe not on an everyday basis, but well enough to be out there. So his versatility in the outfield and his ability to play first, I like him at first base. And if we have that opportunity to utilize him there, I'm not opposed to putting him at first.
And Mark, I think you mentioned Bochy as a mentor.
Yep.
So, what is the extent of your guys' relationship?
Well, when I got traded to the Pods in 2001, Boch was the manager, and for the next 3 seasons, really, loved just playing for him. Built a relationship as a player, and then moving forward, we're part of a friendship group, Bigger Circle, and got to spend some time with him on some trips, and really just took to, the relationship grew, I should say, into the mentorship of, hey, you're ready for this. When I went through these processes to try to become a manager prior to landing here in Oakland, one of the interviews was with San Fran after he was done there, and he guided me, helped me through the interview process, and it just from playing for him as a 25-year-old kid to being 47, I still look to him for advice and mentorship. So.
Is there one element of his style or just him as a person that's been most impactful on you as a manager?
I think the way he cares just about his players, the relationship aspect of it, and that lies even further back. And I get an opportunity to honor one of my heroes, and I feel person that had the biggest impact on me prior to getting to professional baseball was Augie Garrido, another guy, another mentor, and another leader that cared about relationships and taught the value of it through baseball. I was blessed to be able to have that in my life at 17 years old, which was really impactful. So.
Did you think he was truly done after the Giants managing?
No, but I knew it had to be the right opportunity, the right place, a place that valued his tool set, and I think his relationship with CY kind of led him to be open to going back to Texas, and it'll be fun. It'll be fun. We have a couple guys in this division now, with Phil Nevin managing the Angels and myself and Boch, a little inner circle of competition there. So.
You guys into the offseason sort of marching orders in terms of defensively in particular, how to improve, and is he a candidate at second base?
Yeah, so Jordan Diaz, the conversation with Jordan was, hey, you've got here pretty quickly. There's some things that we want you to address to be able to come to spring training and earn this opportunity to play here again and have impact. And I think that message was heard. I think Jordan's doing the right things training-wise this offseason to show up and compete at second and even possibly third base. Some footwork stuff, in terms of just fine-tuning and working on, his body and what we feel he would benefit from, possibly maybe being a little leaner and working on foot speed.
You talked about the new rules kind of last year about incoming for the season. What are kind of the expectations just in terms of the process in spring training to kind of prepare for it? Is any process there that you guys are going through?
Yeah, I think that we'll have definitely meetings prior to our first game, just so the players are well aware of the changes. I know they will be, but you just got to continually remind them. I think the biggest challenge is going to be with the hitters and how quickly they need to be ready and prepared for a pitch. They got to be focused and looking up within 8 seconds. That's going to be difficult for, I think, them to get used to. I know there'll be some leniency to start this out, but on the pitching side, it'll be times to the plate. They've got to be able to control the running game with only limited amount of step-offs or picks That's going to be a challenge for them to be able to deliver the baseball, and thus it brings up another valuable asset with a catcher that can throw. Both of our catchers can throw, Murphy and Langlier. So, we've got two really good defensive catchers that hopefully can contain some of the running game with, the limitation of being able to pick the bases. It's going to be a real issue, in my opinion. So.
I'm sure you probably had input with the bench coach decision. What did Darren Wright say about that choice?
Yeah, so Darren and I obviously have coached together since 16. And spending a lot of time in the dugout together, and not just in the dugout, but obviously in the coach's room, traveling together, getting to know him more intimately. For me, the relationship has grown to where I really value Darren's opinions in terms of how he sees the game, and how he handles himself. Obviously, he's been a lifelong Oakland Athletic coach. We love to promote within, and I think just the symmetry of it, right? I think that really helps the staff. I think the other moves that we've made in terms of kind of repositioning certain guys also helps just, in the continuity, and then adding, Mike McCarthy into the bullpen. Got a pitching background. He's an assistant pitching coach / bullpen coach, which is different for us. Marcus had the catching side of it. So I think, overall, I like where our staff is. I like the balance of it, and the fact that we kind of just stayed together.
Mark, I know you spent a little bit of time as a hitting coach. Industry-wide, what do you think those jobs are so challenging? So there's so much to
A lot of failure, and especially in the game now, the way pitching is, the velocity. It's a definite challenge for these guys to get hitters to think confidently, and it's a grind. So, somebody takes responsibility for failure, right? And it just seems like it's always landing on the hitting coaches right now. So it's a tough job. It's a full-time job. And one that I don't envy, from being able to speak as a prior hitting coach. So, hi, Counts. Are you ready, buddy? Hi. Where's your jacket? Where's your sport coat? Come on, buddy. Where's your sport coat? All right. We good? Yes.
Thanks, Cots.
Yep. My pleasure.